So you might have heard people talk about this idea of having an ideal customer or a target market, and you might be thinking, I don't know what that means or how I would figure that out. So today I want to talk about exactly what an ideal customer is or who they are, and a few little nuances about this. So let's dive in and why it's important. Why does it matter? Why do you need to figure out who your ideal customer is? It really does matter. So let's get started. G'day there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess Van Den, and if you don't know me, I have been a self-employed maker since 2010. I started as a hobby with my jewellery business, Ethereal, in 2008 and went full-time in 2010. Since 2013, I've been helping other makers just like myself and you work out how to turn your handmade hobby into a thriving and profitable business, just like I did. So that's what we talk about on this channel. I also have a podcast which you can check out, and the link to that is below. I also have a blog, a membership site, courses, workshops, and lots more. All of that's down there if you want to check it out. If you enjoy today's video, please do subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up, which helps other people find the video. And it helps me know that you're enjoying this content and finding it useful. And if you kind of get an aha moment about who your ideal customer is, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so what is an ideal customer? Basically, your ideal customer is the person you would most like to work with, the person who would be a perfect fit for whatever it is that you sell. That person will be your ideal customer. Think about those raving fans of a business. You might be one. You might be a raving fan of a particular business because you just love everything about them. You love their product, you love their customer service, you love their branding and marketing and the story that they tell. You've had wonderful experiences with them, and you kind of spread the gospel about them no matter where you go. You are that business's ideal customer. And that's what you're looking for to cultivate in your own business. Raving fans, basically, like that. Those are your ideal customer. Now, you actually choose who you want your ideal customer to be through all of that, through the products that you make, the marketing that you put out there, the branding decisions that you make, the story that you tell, the language and copy that you use. All of those things will attract the ideal customer that you've decided, or maybe unconsciously decided upon based on all of that, and it will repel the people who are not your ideal customer. Now, I just want to reiterate at this point, you can choose who to do business with by using all of these tactics and strategies. And you can also say no. I think this is a really important thing to realize. Especially as a beginner business owner who might not have had this experience, there will be people who want to do business with you who are not your ideal customer and who will just end up causing you more grief than they are worth. And it might be obvious from the beginning that this person is like that, and it might not be obvious. But if you get a clear idea of who your ideal customer is, then it becomes a lot easier to figure out who your ideal customer is not, and therefore avoid doing business with those people. It's okay to say no to working with somebody who is not a good fit for your business. And it can be hard in the beginning, especially because you're trying to make every sale that you possibly can. But working with the wrong person can actually backfire and end up causing your business harm. Think about, those customers who are never satisfied, the people who leave you 1-star reviews because, they didn't get what they expected, even though you probably did a really good job of explaining what they should have expected. Those people are not your ideal customer, and they're just the worst version. The other people who are not your ideal customer are just not a good fit and not really interested in what you have to sell, and that's okay. It's really important to realize that your ideal customer is not everyone. This is a big mistake a lot of beginner business owners make, is that they try to please everybody. And by trying to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. You end up being too vague, too wishy-washy, and the right people might come along, but they don't recognize themselves in your branding and your story and your photos and even your products perhaps. What you're trying to do with all of that is you're trying to speak to your ideal customer and help them to recognize themselves and resonate with all of that stuff so that they choose to work with you, to buy from you. That is how you find and encourage your ideal customer to join you. Now, you can theorize as to who your ideal customer is. If you're right at the beginning, you've not made any sales or only made a couple of sales, you really don't know who it is that you're selling to, that's when you're going to theorize. You're going to think, okay, well, I'll put together, a list of things that I think my ideal customer will have, demographic information, likes, hobbies, all that sort of stuff. Or even better, if you've been in business for a while and you have made some sales, you can uncover who your ideal customer is by digging through the data from the sales that you've already made. And I'm going to go into much more detail about exactly how to uncover your ideal customer in a live workshop in my membership community, the Thrivers Circle, which you can check out. The link is below. So if you want to get access to that, you can come over and join me for that live workshop. I do a new live workshop in that community every month. And if you missed the live workshop, the recording is always there to watch afterwards, so you can work through the workshop at your own pace. So it's really important to either theorize who they are at the beginning or uncover who they are. And you might find that, when you theorize about who they are at the beginning, you might have sort of a reasonable idea. But you may find that the actual ideal customer you uncover is different in perhaps numerous ways to the ideal customer that you theorized about. So what can you do there? Well, you can either shift gears and try to speak more to the ideal customer you've uncovered, or you can work harder to change, your marketing, copy, products to serve that original ideal customer if that's who you really want to be working with. In my business, I've generally gone towards the uncovering way of doing things. I listen to my customers, I look at who they are and what they want, and I do more of that because that's following the market and giving the market what it wants, i.e., your ideal customers are telling you what they want and who they are. So I think it's a great idea to listen to them and give them more of what they want, as long as it's still in line with what you want to offer. So when you're going through this process, you can, leave your ideal customer a bit more vague. You can just kind of have a list of things about them, or you can be more specific and you can actually create an ideal customer avatar, which is where you basically make up a person. You give them a name. You talk about their age, their marital status, their family status, their job, their interests, all that sort of stuff. And you actually write that out as if it's like, I guess, a dating profile or something. I don't know. But you write out like who they are in detail and pretend every time you're doing something, you pretend that you're speaking to that person. So when you write an Instagram post or when you write a blog post or even your item description, your photos, all of that stuff, you're like, will Sally will she like this? Will this appeal to her? Will she see herself in this? And that's how you can kind of get a clearer picture and visualize and envision, I guess, who your ideal customer is. Now, another important point to realize is you can actually have more than one ideal customer for your business, depending on the breadth of things you sell. I'll give you an example with my jewelry business, Ethereal. I actually have 3 ideal customers. Now, the important thing to think about here, you can have multiple ideal customers, but you can't have contrasting ideal customers. Like, you can't have one sort of ideal customer that'll appeal to, that'll like this sort of stuff, and then one who'll like this sort of stuff if they hate the opposite. So they all have to kind of work together in a way. They have to have things in common. So for my jewelry business, we sell eco sterling silver jewelry. So like my earrings that I'm wearing here. We also sell sterling silver rings, and we specialize in sterling silver wedding bands. Now that came about through me listening to what my customers were telling me via what they were buying. We went in that direction, worked really well for us. So we have 3 ideal customers. We have the jewelry, the regular jewelry buyer. So this is usually a woman somewhere between 30 and 50 years of age who likes our regular jewelry. So our earrings, necklaces, bracelets, things like that. She's eco-conscious. She likes wearing silver, not gold. She's usually, a little bit contemporary because our stuff is quite minimalist. And there's lots more I can go into, but that's ideal customer number 1. Ideal customer number 2 are women who buy wedding rings for themselves and their husbands-to-be, generally speaking. So they're the ones who are making the wedding decisions. They're the ones who are choosing the rings, maybe in consultation, but they're the ones doing the job of finding the rings, buying the rings, and so on and so forth. And the second ideal customer is very closely related to that, and that's men generally buying wedding rings for themselves. So that is our third and quite a large demographic of our ideal customers. So, and obviously they all three of those ideal customers all have the, eco-conscious, not worried about tradition so much. They like something handmade and they like something made with love, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they have all those things in common, but they're coming for slightly different reasons. So that first customer, the lady who likes to collect earrings, she might buy one, fall in love with it, then come back and buy more. Whereas the other two ideal customers, they generally only come to the shop once because they want to buy a wedding ring, and generally speaking, you only buy that once, unless of course you lose your ring and need to buy a replacement, which happens more often than you might think. Gentlemen especially, please don't wear your rings in the ocean straight after you've gotten married. I've heard a lot of stories about Hawaii being the death of wedding rings. So there's different ideal customers, as long as you are they're not competing with each other, like there's enough that they have in common, that's not a problem at all. Another really important point is that your ideal customer can change over time. Now, it might be a deliberate change. You might kind of pivot and want to go in a slightly different direction with your products, your business, etc. Or it might be a bit more of an organic change over time. You might find you're serving more and more of this type of person than that type of person. And there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with your ideal customer changing over time, as long as you are aware of it and make sure that everything you're doing is still in line with serving that ideal customer or those ideal customers. So it's not something you just decide once and then set in stone. It's something that you might want to come back to over and over again as the years go by, and make sure that you're still creating copy and branding and etc. in line with your ideal customer, so that you are attracting the right people and repelling or just being indifferent to the wrong people. So I haven't really gone into detail about exactly how to do these things or how to uncover the ideal customer that you might already have, or how to figure out how to speak to them or where to go to find them and connect with them. I'll be covering all of that and much more in my upcoming live workshop in my membership community, the Thriver Circle. The link to that is below. And if you want to become part of a vibrant and really supportive community of people who want to be successful with their handmade businesses, the Thriver Circle is a fantastic resource. Not only do you get access to me on a regular basis and a community, we have live critiques, calls, chats, workshops. There's a whole library of workshops and podcasts there for you. There's also my Your Year to Thrive course, which is a year-long course that teaches you everything from foundational business strategies, how to build up your business and how to grow your business. So you can find all of that and more at thethrivercircle.com, or just thrivercircle.com. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again with another video about how to build your handmade business. Bye for now.